Hi there, welcome to the Wyckoff VeChain session, and we'll look at both weekly and daily timeline and see how VeChain is doing. First, this weekly chart. Currently we're seeing a red candle for this week. We're halfway through after 4 weeks of green candles. Previously we already talked about this test period in the accumulation cycle. So if you take reference from what happened during May, June, July last year, that was another accumulation period. So the way I see it is we're going through a similar period as of this moment, and here the drop in price currently you can see from this sign of strength SOS from last time. It was at a lower point than this time. So this sign of strength we are seeing after this automatic rally and this test over here is showing a little bit of stronger demand compared to what happened September last year. And if this holds true, that this is really a sign of strength, we may be already halfway through the accumulation cycle. The way why I say it's only halfway, because sign of strength may not be the last stage in an accumulation. It may be like two-thirds, but sometimes it's probably just happening in halfway of the accumulation. So let's take a look at this period during 2022 all the way to late 2023. Here the SOS happened between these two. It's somewhere in the middle, or even a little bit less than the middle. So that's why I say, even though we're in an SOS currently, it doesn't mean that the accumulation is over. Sometimes there can be retracement for another test. So sometimes people would just, like me, to simplify things, to call it a test. According to Wyckoff terms, there could be a spring. A spring means a price that's lower than the selling climax, well, a test price. So this one obviously is one because you can draw a line over here and see it's way lower than the selling climax. So currently we're here, and there's still a chance that more tests can happen. So that's why I say, while we're hoping for the next buying climax to come, like this, over here, but don't be surprised if the price trades back to this white center line at around 0.018. That's still a possibility. Hopefully it doesn't go as deep and just do a little bit of backup and last point of support, and then it will go up. So this was the backup and last point of support back in 2023. So you can see it's a point getting lower, much lower than the SOS. So now the big picture is clear. We get to the daily chart and look at the lower level. So 2 weeks ago we talked about a potential sign of strength coming, and indeed we have seen very strong movements over the course of the past 2 weeks. Now it's coming back from that high. Remember, the daily Wyckoff is different from the weekly. The weekly governs what can happen or how far things can go in the daily. So if this was the sign of strength, we expect it to climb from the test. So that's why over the course of past 3 to 4 weeks, it continuously exhibit this action in the daily chart. But you can see there are multiple tests in between. That was the selling climax and all that, while in the daily is only from the test to the SOS. So be careful where we are, or like what timeline we're looking at, because things can happen very quickly in a daily time frame compared to a weekly. So if this is the sign of strength, what it's coming back for, like in the weekly chart when I explained, there may be backup and LPS, or even one more test at some level, maybe around this yellow line. This is a support line at around 2 cents. extended from the selling climax both from March this year as well as June this year. So there were two selling climax already just within this year in the daily time frame. So if we're expecting a test to appear somewhere, the current price movement is where it's showing us. So remember, there are two possibilities. One is the test, a further test. The other is this backup and LPS, last point of support period. So that happened in early May as well. So after the sign of strength, the price briefly retraced to the backup and last point of support. And then it shows us a strong climb over the course of 3 days and traded for another 4 days at around the 3 cents level before it eventually comes back. So this time it may happen in a way similar to what happened in May, that even though the support line is at around 2 cents, when it climbs to get to a new buying climax, the resistance would be at around 3 cents, and obviously it can go a little bit higher to around 3 cents 30 by referencing what we have on the left hand side of the timeline. Sorry, I forgot to change back the interface. I've been talking about this backup, similar period, and also the SOS, and that's what we're expecting for the next few days to come to show us either dip for a test or horizontal trading for backup and last point of support before it climbs to a buying climax. So by the time of the next video, all those should have happened. And in summary, from a weekly time frame, the sign of strength, I believe, has already appeared. And if it is really coming down for another test, or if it's really doing the backup and last point of support, let's say if it finds support at this orange line at around 2 cents 50, then eventually we may be able to see another new buying climax, just like what happened in November last year. That's at around 7, the top was 8 cents, so pretty much like 3 times, more than 3 times that of the current price. But there may be some fluctuations before that can happen. So that's